FM модуль. Радиомодуль.
The hidden composer in residence.
Радиодом.
This is what I bring.
Touch. What do you know more milky than this?
First it was just telephones, then TVs with remote control, finally computers, and today smartphones, tablets, as well as watches. Our daily dealings with media are characterized by a remarkable turn to the tactile. Thanks to the massive diffusion of portable touch screens, holding, pressing and typing may not have become the dominant modes of interaction with media, but they now are certainly on the same level as hearing and seeing. In practically all places, at practically all times, we touch and handle media devices. We hold them, we fasten, or in some way bring them close to our bodies. We carefully swipe across their surfaces and in return, as it were, are attentive to their vibrations. Yet it is not just we who increasingly touch media devices. Conversely, these devices touch and scan us, and increasingly so. We've gotten used to pressure sensors in car seats and to motion detectors in front of automatic doors or in dark stairwells, as much as we have gotten used to stationary and mobile body scanners in airports, courthouses, and other public places. Today, however, we are entering a society of portable and networked media that are downright cramped with sensors, from cars and bikes via fitness trackers to glasses and shoes. Ever smaller and more lightweight, such devices are literally moving in on us, and the more they do so, and the more they are in so doing connected, the more intensely they scan us and our surroundings, track and trace our movements through real and virtual spaces. This development reminds us that our dealings with media are never limited to single sense organs. They always concern the entire body. Classical media such as radio or TV might still primarily address the ear or the eye. Today's media devices, however, leave no doubt that they involve their users literally from tip to toe, from the head down to the feet, from hands and wrists via the chest to the neck and forehead. The surface of media multiplies accordingly. It is no longer limited to speakers and screens, but continues in clothes and seats, glass plates and rubber bands, walls and floors, and begins to embrace entire apartments and cities. This makes situated relationships between technical and bodily surfaces, what Willem Flusser once called the encounter between the opposing skins of techniques and body, of machine and organism, the concrete starting point for critical reflection.
Lautsprecherstimme. Beifall aus dem Lautsprecher.
This is what I read. This is what I read. I delivered it, so I could spread it all around.
Before I could rest. Got dressed before I could rest. Got dressed before I could rest. Everything around.
I was always more about what's next than what's shine. Till she would have on. Even though several thoughts they had been rendering material structure and animal excitations to it, until something in the word had ordered.
Dieses Herz will nicht singen aus mir, die Brust ist verschleimt. Ich bin zur Qual geboren und ich habe keine Ruhe. Blut füllt mir die Augen und meine Hände zittern wie Laub. Vorgestern schlief ich bei einer Dame, die sonst vom Teufel geritten wurde. In der Dämmerung erhob ich mich und ging aus dem Hotel, absolut nackt unter dem Mantel, heim. Dann habe ich Papier vollgeschrieben und Blut geschwitzt. Damit ich schrieb 3 Nächte und 2 Akte. Wer soll das lesen können? Ich will etwas gebären. Ich muss etwas gebären. Der Geruch der Mainächte ist in mir. Die Liebe ist wie ein Strudel, der einem die Kleider vom Leibe reißt und einen nackt begräbt, nachdem man Himmel gesehen hat. Blauen, unermesslichen, unersättlichen. Musik quillt aus mir. Ich kann sie nicht halten. Sie versickert im Sand wie ein fruchtbarer Quell. Und ich dorre darüber aus. Ich will Sommer schaffen. Wild, rot, gefräßig, eine Last von Himmel darüber.
I want something I don't yet know.
We come in touch and the run and we boom. He said that love breeds to run a year on our head. The pond, the night, in like water, both came live.
But booming rests influence sun.
But there are also loves that are secret early to feel. Some of them having been found more than affairs ago and have still not been made. Hear the father vengeance on the man love. Feel what will wish to child and young dream now. On its own, however,
It is secret to marry mean person.
I will wish to become the day, the child age kitten. Lift fingers down the touches, fingers to the accusation love of the adulterous lip. My lips flattered me as a break, and forsook whether I should get through.
Croissances for sin and time by leave.
For in the togetherness they neither experience nor are given in way.
But are the needs of energy in love.
Have each way come his or her may as an universal, and what spoke to this faith after it understood. Needs will be, become, to, know, to end, thing case is thing. The energy between necessary and tactile form plays table, when to use the love to require generation.
And what to do with hero to better remain soul fathers.
Some of the tactile different tastes were very large. The different part is the note most various nature. There are some various points you should act and locate comical with.
Yes, we have paths. Town still supports, and day is still various.
The fingertip of my finger, what did not move to touch. The eye of God tore you. The man of felicity broke you away.
Whatever touched, pleasure could not be a play.
Sister, tear over there, where joy's going, and then press, speak back, and think.
In his writings for the Arcades project, Walter Benjamin situates the activity of touching on the side of the human subject. However, he also, and in fact more strongly, locates touch on the side of the object. According to Benjamin, some reproduction techniques that really operate in the visual register are already by themselves subjected to the dominance of the sense of touch, such as the camera, which gives the moment a posthumous shock, as it were, or the movie camera, which, not unlike the surgeon's lancet, penetrates deeply into the tissue of the event. And thanks to technical reproductions, works of art, such as records or photographs, acquire the ability to make steps toward and or to accommodate the receiver in his own situation. Benjamin describes the consequences of this object-oriented tactilization as a far-reaching transformation of what is commonly called culture. According to him, modern culture is first of all a means of emancipation and tool for domination for the bourgeois classes, especially insofar as they conceive of culture as a handing down of experience, knowledge, and techniques. Tactile modernity transforms this kind of tradition into strategies of habituation. What is handed down are no longer things that preserve narratives as much as the traces of the narrating artist, but situations or spaces in which stimuli and reactions, suggestions and associations prevail. While in such a situation, the cultural values of the artwork's uniqueness fade. Technical reproduction also allows new forms of appropriating culture to emerge. The contemplation and recollection that were common attitudes to take in front of a traditional painting and even early photographs are replaced now by the experiential forms of the event and of distraction. Accordingly, what once was called cultural memory becomes a practice of using and getting used to. In tactile modernity, culture becomes a sort of testing, continually subjected to the judgment of an audience. This is what Benjamin sums up in saying that in a tactilized culture, the field of what can be tested expands considerably. We might also say, in such a culture, what can be touched becomes what can be tested. Das Tastbare wird zum Testbaren.
We will now see further with our worlds.
touchable, untouchable. Homogenization is a bad construct. The body does not exist. It is a chimera. Life means diversity, Mannigfaltigkeit, manifoldness. Before scientists imprisoned bodies for analysis, anatomical or pathological study purposes, bodies are ambiguous, diffuse and multifunctional, anarchic and diverse, the touchable and the untouchable. The statistical body was conceptualized in order to increase the readability of the corporeal world. The non-statistical body, the non-readable and non-writable body, stubbornly resists quantification and symbolization, and only offers itself again and anew to interpretation. There is no objectivity of any kind whatsoever. Both coexist, but not peacefully, rather in continual strife in strong tension. They undergo and have undergone many ordeals. They fight and are at war with one another, struggle for power, for dominance, for ruling the world we live in. The untouchable and the touchable. The dominant type of modern times were the troublesome and seductive bodies, functionalized as useful and beautiful objects of the gaze in order to render them more predictable, efficient, reversible, and accessible to sensational observation. This dominant type of body cannot do without glaring light for the purpose of illuminating its surface and trans-illuminating its density, its volume, its inner structure, subjected to symbolization by geometry, body scans, and the grammar of language. An infinite number of subtypes have been generated from this type. The rationalized bodies, the measured and surveyed bodies, the anorexic bodies of the astronauts, the phantom-like bodies found in encyclopedias and archives. Untouchable. The non-statistical body operates in the shadow of the dominant type's regime. The body that is at once deviant and luxurious, because it permits both extravagance and self-extravagance. To this tradition belong the banished, burned and tortured bodies, the manic and the melancholic bodies, the schizo bodies, the hysterical bodies, the silent bodies, the bodies that have been put to sleep, the dreaming bodies, the eroticized and the addicted bodies. Their modes of movement are ecstasy and ritual, delirium and pleasure, the denial of which bring forth the monsters of the dominant body concept of modern times, the normal body, there to be touched.
To reach the impossibility of transferring from one like image to another the memory imprint. We don't have to have tradition if we somehow free ourselves from our memories.
In her early art experiments, Rebecca Horn explores not only movements of the body, the head, and the hands. Horn's measure box uses extensions of the body to stage a figure of motionlessness. The actress is locked into an upright, rectangular metal frame. Between its vertical braces, a large number of silver metal rods have been mounted horizontally at regular intervals. these rods can be understood as simultaneously objectivation and multiplication of groping fingers. They have pistol-shaped, flattened ends and can be pushed back and forth within the frame with great precision. Once the actress is standing inside the frame, the rods are used to fixate the outlines of her body, starting from the four corners. This renders the idea that what scientists usually call data ought to be called capta, as Ronald D. Lang once remarked. The given on this view is also always the captured, the arrested. Measuring rods, we might abbreviate, also always function as prison bars. Yet even here, another turn is possible. In the art of Rebecca Horn, locking in is not an ultimate dead end, not a detention without exit. It also marks an apex of concentration, a point of rest and protection for a renewed departure to new performances, new communications, new perceptions, and interperceptions.
Ich kann es nicht. Ich werde es nicht tun. Teufel! 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 Ich will weg! Ich will raus hier! Ich will hier weg! I'll do it again. I'll do it again. See, this is my life. It always will be. There's nothing else. Just us. And the cameras. And those wonderful people out there in the dark. Was wollt ihr denn von mir? Hilfe! Hilfe! Lass mich raus! Ich will nicht raus! Ich will nicht raus! Lass mich doch raus! Was wollt ihr denn von mir? Hilfe! Ich kann nicht! Ich kann nicht! Ich kann nicht! Ich kann nicht! Will ich! Muss! Will ich! Muss!
What do you think, Linda?
You heard him? I'm a star. Great stars have great pride.
Nicht! Muss! Nicht! Muss!
Sure, just cut them up like regular chickens.
Nicht! Muss! Nicht! Muss!
You're absolutely fantastic. 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 You're absolutely fantastic.
Teilnehmer? Ja. Bitte? Ja, guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Ja. Was wünschen Sie denn? Ja. Ja, was möchten Sie?
Poetry and proximity belong to the same semantical neighborhood. You are close to each other. You have no other choice. Distance is a privilege of the rich and powerful. They can buy to touch and to be touched if they need it, if they feel like it. Like they can buy beauty, body, or space and time. Poetry and proximity belong to the same semantical neighborhood. Square meters, 8 to 10 people, guest leavers, not counted. No secrets, the skin of the other. Unavoidable, you don't know what that is. A bed of one's own. You hear them whispering in the night, and you listen to the shameful silence. In the morning, poetry and proximity belong to the same semantical neighborhood. Thinking through touching is a radical consequence of an existence that is dependent of the smell of the other, of tasting and being tasted. Praise to the physical object, dark to all entities, dark to all entities. Erst kommt das Fressen, dann die Moral. Erst kommt das Fressen, dann die Moral. Erst kommt das Fressen, dann die Moral. Poetry and proximity belong to the same Semantical Neighborhood.
Going back to Benjamin, we might then characterize the dialectics of touch with more precision. The author of the Arcades project translates his general finding that capitalism is increasingly tactilized into a concrete and only apparently paradoxical diagnosis. This diagnosis concerns the tracelessness of existence in modernity. According to Benjamin, if a culture that has become tactile entails the liquidation of its traditions, then this means nothing else but that there is no longer any solid ground on which the bourgeoisie could leave its trace. It finds itself confronted with its own historylessness. The bourgeoisie, Benjamin continues, reacts to this absence of traces by retreating into apartments on whose interior walls, made of carpet, plush, and velvet, it can leave clear traces through which it seeks to reassure itself about itself. The state, however, reacts to the tracelessness of modern existence as well. It establishes new kinds of techniques and procedures for capturing people, from the installation of house numbers in the streets of big cities via the obligation to carry identification papers to Bertillon's identification procedures that pertain as much to anthropology as they do to law enforcement. It should be clear by now how relevant this diagnosis is. What Benjamin outlines is not only a genealogy of the society of control Deleuze had his sights on, which even without house numbers will at every point in time know the exact location of each and every citizen. Benjamin also allows us to surmise that the now dominant use of media refers us to the tracelessness of existence. In concrete terms, it would then, on the one hand, be the protective, screening properties of media that significantly contribute to the use of smartphones, tablet computers, and other media devices precisely because they function as a kind of envelope, armor, or casing. On the other hand, it is just this use that enables the growing control and surveillance of their users. Of course, the case lining in which today's bourgeoisie is firmly embedded is no longer made of soft fabric, but consists of glass, wired up and lit up from behind, and the casing it lines is no longer an opulent apartment, but a mobile housing without walls. The status of traces changes accordingly. Benjamin still thought traces on a hylomorphic model. The crucial paradigm for him was the impression the potter's hand leaves on the object she forms. Today, by contrast, the frequency of touching a hard, largely unchanging surface and the repetition of movements in a space divided up into radio cells suffice for us to be identified and addressed. In other words, the digital traces of the present day are based on a multitude of fleeting impressions in time.
Doch werfen wir, solange sich Satan noch auf seinem Flug durchs Chaos befindet, einen Blick hinunter in das Paradies. Nun, wie es da so war.
Unto the border comes of Eden-wed delicious paradise, now nearer crowns with her enclosure green, on which the sun more glad impressed his beams than in fair evening cloud or humid bow, when God hath showered the earth. So lovely seemed that landscape.
Seht, es kam jetzt Satan ganz von Wut entflammt herab, und er sah unter sich mit großem Staunen für menschliches Entzücken hingebreitet, gedrängt den ganzen Reichtum der Natur.
In this pleasant soil, out of the fertile ground, God caused to grow all trees of noblest kind, for sight, smell, taste, and all amid them stood the tree of life, high eminent, blooming, ambrosial fruit of vegetable gold, and next to life, our death, the tree of knowledge, grew fast by, knowledge of good, bought dear by knowing ill.
Ja, nah am Lebensbaume wuchs der des Todes, des Erkenntnisses des Guten, schwer erkauft durch das des Bösen. Eine Landschaft, die nur die sanfte Stimme einer Frau besingen kann.
Pleasant soil, out of the fertile ground, God caused to grow all trees of noblest kind, for sight and smell and taste, and among them stood the tree of life, blooming ambrosial fruit, and next to life, our death, the tree of knowledge, knowledge of good, bought dear by knowing ill.
Ja, nah am Lebensbaume wuchs der des Todes, des Erkenntnisses des Guten, schwer erkauft durch das des Bösen. Eine Landschaft, die nur durch die sanfte Stimme einer Frau gesungen werden kann. Vor allem, wenn sie bislang der einzige auf Erden ist.
Blossoms on the ground, the bluebirds bring them down just to lay around. In the winter breeze, the icicles tinkle in the silver birch trees. In the spring I can swing on the crescent moon, all free and nude, and it's never rude. Si Surabaya too, the nightingales sing and the bees don't sting. Robins have sparkly nests and lemonade comes out my breast. I take tea with the seraphim and watch the cats enjoy their swim.